brief conversation about this with the Prime Minister yesterday, to your point. His vision and even all the programs, the yojanas, and India Stack. In fact, the thing that I'm realizing is it's the magic of India Stack, because everything needs a feedback loop.
That's right.
It's the yojanas and the policies and the technology stack co-evolving.
That's right.
That's just a virtuous cycle that is unlike anything I've seen, and it's just tremendous. And to your point, I absolutely think both of these as perhaps the greatest contributions that India can make to the world, quite frankly. When I think about it, the idea that there is a digital public good is great. But there's a digital public good, but I'll even call it some sort of new ways to use them to make it possible for every society and economy to be more inclusive, right?
Exactly.
Which is, what is it that I learn in India every time I come? It goes back to even that thing I was talking about, Bhashini.
Exactly.
Which is, it's the common man able to use the greatest technology to do something that is useful to them. And it's not about tech for tech's sake. And that, to me, is what I think India can contribute, which is, I think, the age of celebration of technology for technology's sake is over. It's about really thinking about technology and its use for everyone in the world. And that, I think, can be the greatest contribution.
Great. Thank you.
And speaking of that, maybe on top of the digital public goods, Nandan, the other thing that's happening, of course, is all the entrepreneurial energy. We are, after all, at the capital of India's entrepreneurial energy. How do you think about that? Like, what are you most excited about as someone who was the originator of it all?
Well, we had the original startup at Infosys. So. But I think what I'm actually fascinated, because in 2016 we had 1,000 startups. Today we have 90,000 startups. It's like unbelievable. And my own journey in this, I feel like Rip Van Winkle, because in 2014 I came back after the Aadhaar project, and I live in Koramangala, which I didn't realize is the epicenter of this stuff. So I used to go for walks, and every small house would have some signboard, and bleary-eyed guys coming out at 6 in the morning after doing an all-night session. So I realized there's something afoot. And I think it's amazing, the energy, the startups, the kind of innovations. I meet young people with huge ambition and excitement. And many of the digital public goods that we have created actually enable a lot of this. I mean, you know, Jio was able to scale up to 1 million customers a day because they use Aadhaar eKYC. Zerodha became the largest broking company using Aadhaar eKYC. All the payment banks. In the payment space, you have people like PhonePe who built large franchises on this. So all these technologies are actually enabled in an open manner with APIs for private innovators to use. And you know, when you look back at it, the original internet was that. It was a digital public good created by the government. It was used by all the companies. GPS was that. It was a digital public good created by the government, and today we have so many applications. So that's the same philosophy, taking it all the way forward to what a modern economy and society needs.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way. In fact, I love the way you described it, because the original vision of the internet was that,
exactly.
Which is, it was the great leveler,
exactly.
So that everyone can build and create, and there will be frictionless access to it. And in some level, some of the new protocols and the stack work is re-bringing that ethos.
Absolutely. The Beacon protocol, which is the underlying protocol for ONDC, is unbundling commerce, mobility. You know, so everything is getting unbundled and is being put together in a much more interoperable and societally good way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and then also the fostering great amount of competition.
That's right.
At the right layers,
exactly.
So that there's no, I would call it, sort of incumbency.
Yeah. Basically, we're creating interoperable digital rails at very low cost, very high volume population scale, and allowing innovation on top of that.
Yeah.
But tell me, you know, you a few years back, you took $1 billion bet on OpenAI, and I think a lot of people said, what's wrong with this guy? And today, you're looking phenomenal. So can you tell us about your vision on that and what made you take that big bet?
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal, Nandan, to see what's happening with these foundational models, so right? The fundamental, thing is we're seeing emergent scale effects. GPT-3 to 3.5 and what comes next are all really exciting to see. And we're obviously thrilled with our partnership with OpenAI. As I said, in fact, one of the first things that really helped us was build, quite frankly, cloud infrastructure. I've always, in fact, when I think about, like, the one thing we all have to stay grounded is in order to build AI, you need the cloud.
That's right.
But you need a cloud that is very different, right? In fact, having grown up all my life in the cloud, the types of infrastructure that is required to do this large-scale AI model training is very different, right? And the network becomes very, very important, as I was mentioning, how these models are much more synchronous, how they cohere. It has to be, that workload shapes the infrastructure. That feedback loop has been very, very helpful for us building, both on the inference side and on the training side. So then the question is, and I'm not going to say that this is the last big innovation. There will be a lot of model architecture innovation. There may be even new, more efficient breakthroughs on what is, what can be done. And we want to keep a very open mind to all of that. But we also want to really ride this wave in a very aggressive way. But what's the intuition? If you ask me what's the intuition behind it, it's a simple, if you sort of take one of these large models and let's say train it on all of the math equations, right? It gets good at math. But then let's say we train it on all the math equations and all of Kannada literature. It'll get better at math.
Okay.
Why is that? Yeah. It's because that's what we as humans do even, right? When we go to school, it's not like we only learn math. We learn math, we learn language, we learn history.
That's a great point.
And the general circuit sort of gets good, and the general circuit gets good at specific domain tasks. So it's kind of the same intuition, where here it shows up differently with scale effects.
So you had that intuition 4 or 5 years back.
As you said, look, in technology, it's all about being able to bet on great teams with real vision and the ability to sort of back them to the hilt. And that's what I saw in Sam and his group, and it has been fantastic. And so, they're true believers in it, and they along with even all of the folks at Microsoft Research and so on have done some phenomenal work to get us to a place where now it's showtime though. It's not about just, again, going back to a little bit of, I think, your coaching to all of us. It's saying technology is great, but let's now make it that it is really useful in the context of its social impact. So I think that's the phase.
In fact, our commitment is by the time we come 1 year later, you'll see real world applications using all the technology, GPT chat, multilingual, in the hands of 1 billion people. That's our mission.
That's the mission. Maybe on that note we can end. Thank you so much, Nandan. It's such a pleasure seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Super.
much. Thank you all. Thank you very much.